Okay.
All right. Hey, I wanted to say that was it last week where we talked about the guy that was had clinically been dead for 20 minutes and had an experience in heaven. My mom really enjoyed that.
I love
that conversation. That I love that too. Hey, I was thinking about what can we talk about today that's really over 50 starting over, and my mind, I was on a bike ride last night, my mind started just wandering, and I landed on Sasquatch and the Loch Ness monster.
God.
And I remember, and I don't really have any information on this because I ended up not having time to look into it and everything, but I did actually see a documentary this within the last week where it talked about Loch Ness and the Loch Ness monster. And the funny thing, it's like, this is what I was thinking is, back in the 70s, we had that one real grainy picture of,
which has been debunked,
Loch Ness monster. And then we saw Sasquatch. There's like a little video of
which has been debunked.
Yeah, we say debunked, and it's like, okay, debunked sometimes starts to sound like conspiracy theory because it's like, who's the one?
The guy that dressed up in the ape suit admitted it on his deathbed.
So this is the weird part about this, because I can remember very clearly on the Sasquatch kind of things where they're like, no, look at this video. Look at how the knees are on this video. Humans can't move like this. So I don't know. Somebody could have said that on their deathbed. It'd be a really fun thing to say right before you die.
There's no doubt in my mind that's exactly what happened.
Anyway,
no doubt.
Here's what I'm saying is, with all the smartphones that we have, don't you think we'd have Sasquatch sightings every day and Loch Ness sightings every day?
Both are completely debunked, but I still like talking about that stuff. And I still see a possibility for Bigfoot-like creatures being, in extremely remote locations, just, whatever species of ape that is still around, a rare species. Sure.
Right. The fact is that the whole Bigfoot thing didn't start in the 1970s. That Sasquatch is an Indian word, actually, and there are all these different Indian stories about this creature out there, and then if you really start to look into it, there's some other stuff out there too that'll make you believe that it's possible. It's the fact is that we like to think we know everything that's happening here in the world, but the fact we're still finding new creatures, new species all the time. It's happening. So anyhow, back to this Loch Ness thing, though. I saw this documentary, and the couple of things I didn't know. One is that so they have this guy on there, and they're out on Loch Ness, which is beautiful. The guy is saying this is such a big lake that people don't realize how big this lake is as we're searching for Loch Ness. He says that it's over, in some places, I think he was saying over 1,000 feet deep. And he was saying you could fit the world's population into Loch Ness 3.5 times. That's how big it is. And so they were doing this test on can we find, it was a DNA test in the water, and they were looking for like lizard like DNA, and they couldn't find any. Surprise. However, what they did find was this eel DNA, and they talked about how these eels, it was very interesting, that the certain species of eel can actually grow to be mammoth in size if they're stuck in a certain place. In other words, they can't leave Loch Ness. And they were saying, we found a lot of this inside of the lake, which could explain what people were seeing and supposing that it was this Loch Ness monster. But anyhow, just something interesting.
I love this
really
stuff
about that in a long time.
And I'm glad you brought it up, because I love talking about this stuff, but I love it all. But I got the biggest, most common sense explanation of all: the 70s. Bigfoot, right? Amityville Horror,
flying saucers.
Yeah, all of it, man. Well, people just knew back then. It was an inquisitive time. People were smoking a lot of pot and doing other drugs for the first. Kind of new, and open-minded and
this is true. That was kind of new, right?
Craved all of this stuff and knew, it only takes 0.01% of people knowing that we've all known a BSer growing up. It only takes, one of those like, man, I really had these people strung along. Now I got a reporter that wants to talk to me. I could really play this up. There's people out there that did that.
Sure.
Absolutely. And that's all it takes. Yeah. Yes, you did. Of course you did. We've all known these people and we want to believe it. And it's fun, especially especially in the realm of Loch Ness. I don't believe any of that for a minute. But it's fun to think about.
I think that, of course, I'm very skeptical, when people start telling me these kinds of stories, but there's always some part of my mind that says, you know what, we just don't know everything.
For sure.
The possibility that something like that is down there, when you start to realize how big the lake is, it's like, okay, maybe that could be, I don't know. I'm not going to buy it. But I'm gonna say
wouldn't put any money in on that.
Possible, right?
Sure. I feel like that.
Not a gambler, right?
I feel like that about everything, and that's why when we talk about UFOs, I'm like, I'm all in on that. I definitely believe that whatever it is, there's shit going on there.
There's something happening. I don't know what it is.
It's irrefutable.
Something's happening. I don't know.
It's irrefutable,
right?
There's plenty of film in. They got a lot more that we're not seeing. They got high def.
You have to know this, right?
Right.
Yeah, because with the radar systems that they have and everything, which are really over the top now. The craziest thing, Barry, and we've talked about this, but they really didn't start seeing a lot of this stuff until they put the new radar systems inside of our military, our planes and stuff like that. And then suddenly they were able to see things they hadn't seen before. They were already seeing this.
They were just picking it up
right now. So that leads me to believe that what we're seeing is really nothing like what they can see, because when we see these videos, they're always grainy. And I'm like, come on, they've got way better technology than that. They're just not showing it to us.
Yep, that's for sure. That's something I can't get enough of.
I agree with that. Hey, I wanted to go to sort of our movie kind of thing here. I saw a couple of things. I don't know if you got the thing queued up or if you want to put that up.
Geez, yeah. Let me. Look, I'm just over here, just all relaxed, and I have no idea.
I have a couple of things. I am just digging this whole aspect of non-cable TV. I can't.
Well, it's about time.
How grateful I am to my son Brandon for bringing Anne Marie and I out of the dark ages.
Yes,
it is really something. I'm
slow.
I'm enjoying this so much better. It's really something else. And what I found is these series that are out there that I can binge watch. The whole new concept of, I was watching a movie last night and I didn't know it was a movie. I thought it was a series, and I asked Anne Marie, is this a movie? And she goes, yeah. And I was totally disappointed. I'm like, oh, it's going to be over in a half hour and it's never going to come on again.
That's funny that you say that, because I'm the opposite. I've noticed that a lot lately as I start to look at something even, and it is something I hate about HBO Max. I've been singing their praises, especially over Netflix, but they have the worst interface. Whereas like what I like about Amazon Prime is it gives you a rating system, star ratings. And so you can
get that too.
You can get an idea there. It's not perfect, but you get a good idea. Netflix at least gives you a preview. You hover over it, you get a preview for a bit.
Right.
But HBO Max has none of that, just the thumbnail. So I hate that.
One thing I do like about HBO Max is like when you pause it, it'll tell you what the movie stars that are on the screen right there.
Oh, that's cool. But
I think it's kind of cool.
Amazon Prime,
I never know who these people are.
Yeah, Amazon Prime has that at all times. If you I always watch on my laptop. So if you move your mouse over to the left, It always has that. And it'll even have trivia facts of what's going on in the movie. It's really interesting. I think Amazon Prime is the best. But what I was going to say is I'm the opposite of you, Merle, that I'll be seeing a description of something and like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Oh no, it's a series. I don't want to get sucked into watching 10 episodes of something when I just want a self-contained type thing. Opposite of you, you know?
Yeah, but I am a person that really never got into that kind of. I don't really. I was kind of. It's a funny thing. I was kind of in that. It's a series. I don't want to watch the series, but since I got this, it's like, well, there's a series on. I guess I'll watch. Oh my gosh! What? And then it gets to the end, and it's like always leaves you on the cliffhanger, and you're like, I gotta know what happens.
Yeah,
it's kind of. I think it's kind of fun. I remember when Lost came out, and I just
never got into it.
Well, my kids were.
I've heard great things about it. I get the premise. I get it, but they jumped the shark. They jumped the shark.
They did, and they totally they missed such a great opportunity to end the show in such a spectacular way, but they couldn't figure out how to do it, and they failed on that. But it kept you riveted. When I got to Los Angeles, the kids were like, "Oh, we've been watching this," and they'd already had like season 1 and half of season 2. So we were like, well, okay. They really wanted to watch it with us. So we started watching it together. That was one of the most fun things we did together as a family, as we watched this together. And we're so into it. Couldn't wait to watch the next episode. And it was so fun to watch them one after another together. Like anyhow.
So was it like a serious Gilligan's Island?
In a way, it was. There were some things about it that were sort of captivating. Things I think you would get into, where there was like is this like something to do with aliens that somehow formed this whole thing on this island? So there were a lot of things. I think you would really like it if you started to watch it.
But I know that I got you, and I thought about that, and I bet you're right. But if I know that the end is all screwed up, I just don't want to go there. Now, it sounds interesting to me that they should take the entire premise and redo it the right way, with the beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like Breaking Bad,
late, but
three seasons.
Yeah, I you know what, and you've brought this up before about these kinds of series, is that they got to know when to end, and they end up jumping the shark, and it's
ruins the entire artistic integrity of everything. Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. I wish that they wouldn't do it. And here's the other thing: is I watched a series that here it is. Our Flag Means Death. Okay, so this is one of the series that I started watching, and this is kind of interesting. It's Our Flag. It's an American period romantic comedy. It's a television series set in 1717 during the golden age of piracy. The series follows the misadventures of an aristocrat turned pirate, Stede Bonnet, who is Rhys Darby, and his crew aboard this thing called the Ravage. Anyhow, so they're going around with Blackbeard and everything, and it turns out this is a true story.
Oh.
And this guy who was this rich landowner decides, you know what, I'm done with this kind of life. I've always wanted to be a pirate. And he buys this ship and goes out like he's a pirate, and he hooks up with Blackbeard. And let me tell you, it's a really funny, the humor. It's like Rhys Darby and the guy that plays Blackbeard, they're from New Zealand, and it's like kind of this New Zealand kind of off-center humor, which I really like. And so they did one season of this, and they got really good reviews. This came out it premiered on HBO Max March 3rd, 2022. So it just came out, and the season aired, but now they're not sure if there's going to be a season 2. And the season 2, even though they got great reviews and everything, they're not sure. And the funny part about it is they haven't written season 2. And so that's the thing about it. It's like, wait, you guys don't even have like an end game here.
Right.
You just like put this out there and get us all hooked, and you have no idea where the heck the story is going.
That's the problem with the industry, is you don't even waste your time on that. It's like, can we hook the studio to finance this? And that's probably a really expensive show to make, I would think.
I think any of these shows are very expensive to make, and not to mention there's pretty superb talent in this movie. This guy that plays Blackbeard, his name is Taika Waititi, and he was in that movie Jojo Rabbit. He played Hitler in that movie. This guy he's awesome. He's an awesome actor.
Tell me again, what's the name of it and what is it on?
It's HBO Max.
Okay.
It's and it
great. Froze up.
It just came out March 3rd. The season has ended.
What's it called?
So the season, it's called Our Flag Means Death.
Our Flag Means Death. Wow.
Right.
What a name.
I know, but in this guy that plays Stede Bonnet, his name is Reese Darby. He's hilarious. The guy's hilarious. Turns out, though, in real life, because Blackbeard and Stede form this relationship, this friendship, and everything, and Blackbeard is a guy that he befriends him, but in the background, you never know if Blackbeard's going to kill Stede or not.
Sure.
And it's funny. But
I can see enjoying this.
In real life, these guys were bad guys. Stede was Blackbeard, he was a pirate, and the worst kind of pirate.
I thought you were talking about the real actors.
No,
you mean the real
the real guys. Okay. Blackbeard killed a bunch of people. He raped a bunch of people. Stede was a big slave holding landowner and got involved in all this crime and everything. But these guys make the story funny. It's a lot like that movie Jojo Rabbit, which Hitler and Nazi Germany. I don't think I saw it. Very, very serious stuff. I highly recommend that movie, Jojo Rabbit, because it makes some very good points that'll hit your heart, but at the same time, they add humor to it. The guy that plays Hitler, Taika Waititi, is really good at this, and there's some really great humor, and at the same time, it hits the mark. Two good things to check out.
This show, Our Flag, Who Out There,
Our Flag Means Death.
Yeah, there, same thing. Does it take place primarily on the water?
A lot of it takes place on the water. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd really like ship. That.
Yeah, you got to. It's like very clever humor, and it's again you'll love this guy that plays Stede and also the guy that plays Blackbeard. Very, very charismatic. It's fun to watch.
Cool. So, I haven't seen anything really new, really good that's gotten me excited in a little bit.
So I saw a couple of different movies just last night. And it was
stop it.
It was really good to it's again during this time watching things that are uplifting or funny to me. I think I want people to know about things that make you feel good or that you can laugh about. So I saw two movies last night that were both kind of the same subject. It was somebody's got a dream and they want it. They want it. Their heart is set on it. They feel like they don't deserve it, but they just decide to go for it. And both of these are actually rom-coms, which I love rom-coms.
I don't.
I know it's funny.
They're just because of the formula. They're too predictable.
I love the happy ending. I love just a happy ending. And but these are two movies that are very heart-rendering, and they're happy. They make you feel happy at the end. And to me, that's where it's worth your money. If it makes you feel happy, makes you feel joy, that's worth something right there. But the two movies, Cuban Fury. Cuban Fury is about this guy that he was growing up. It's a white guy that wants to be a salsa dancer, and he's a kid. He does it with his sister, and one day he gets the crap beat out of him by a bunch of bullies, and he decides to throw away his dancing shoes. 25 years later, he meets this woman who he feels is way out of his league, but learns that she's loves salsa, and he decides. Now he's way overweight and everything, and but he decides he's gonna salsa dance, and the comedy involved in this is great. It's a feel-good movie. Again, Cuban Fury. It's a 2014 movie, and I think you can see that I'm not sure where I saw that, but it was a minor box office success, but received mixed reviews from critics. I thought it was really great. I thought
It's
it was
like
really funny
starring
too.
Mario Van Peebles and Jennifer Lopez, right?
No, these are all English, mostly English actors. Nick Frost was in, you'd recognize him if you'd seen him before. Rashida Jones was the only person from America that was in that. She was in Dude, I Love You. She's very, very good, but it's a funny movie, and it's ridiculous as well. And I kind of like that whole ridiculous thing at this point in time.
Yeah.
Finally, Falling for Figaro is another one that I saw last night, where this woman, she's a very successful businesswoman. Again, another English movie, but she's a very successful woman. It's Joanna Lumley is the star of this. It's a 2021 romantic comedy, and she's a businesswoman, but she's always had this dream of being an opera singer. So she quits her job, and she finds this person, very eccentric music or voice teacher. Her name is Joanna Lumley is the actress, and she is just a bitch on wheels. And just the whole thing comes around, though. The whole movie comes around. The acting is superb. Even the singing. I'm not a big opera person, but it was pretty amazing. It's a great movie. I thought I didn't want to watch it, but it was actually a great movie.
3 reasons why I'd never watched that movie. 1, it's a rom-com. 2, it's English. I can never understand what the hell they're saying. And 3, it's opera. There's no way I'm going to watch that movie.
I kind of felt the same way. It was something Anne-Marie wanted to watch, and she turned it on. And she fell asleep right away. But I was up, and I loved it. I don't like opera, but I can appreciate the talent. And it's funny because there were people singing opera, and I'm like, wow, that's good. And then the people in the movie were like, that was terrible. Anyway, all 3 of those all feel good, funny. You'll feel good after you watch them. So that's cool. Those are my picks.
Oh, good, man. Good share. I like the fact that they're feel good movies. I really do.
I do too.
I watched, for what it's worth, I saw something new. Pretty sure it was HBO Max. David Spade did a live in concert special for the first time in like 8 years.
I like David Spade.
It started out, it was pretty good. He's got a nice, calm, disarming delivery about him, as you know. But I didn't get through the whole thing. It started to get a little tedious. So yeah.
And comedy's good. I
love good stand-up, but they're hard. They're kind of like a horror movie. I got one. Oculus. I watched this. It was earlier in the week, may have been last weekend. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was HBO Max. Obviously, I've been on a tear there. Well, I rarely like horror movies because I think it's 1 in a million that are actually good. They're usually formulaic and just try for cheap scares and that kind of thing, and blood. And Oculus was so creepy. It was about a mirror, about an old mirror that this family gets, and then the dad gets possessed by it type stuff. The little kids are terrified. The mom goes crazy. And then you hear about all the history of it and all these people that died as a result of going crazy because of this haunted mirror and all of that. And they're trying to kill it. The kids grow up and are trying to kill it. And it's good. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm like trying to go to bed.
Oculus.
It's like Monday night, and I'm like, I got to turn the thing off. I had to watch. There was no way I was going to sleep, man. I had to turn it off and watch the rest the next day.
That's funny,
it was really good.
I love that you had to turn it off and watch it the next day when the sun was up.
It was just that, like, my heart's going like this. There's no way I was going to fall asleep. I really recommend it. It wasn't gross or anything.
No,
it was
Oculus,
just,
though. It
was creepy, scary. It was well done. Yeah.
I'm down for a good kind of creepy, scary movie. I don't like the movies that are just gore and violence. You know what I mean?
90+% of them.
Right. I know. And another thing, Barry, that I have been noticing in movies over the last 5 or so years, maybe longer, but a lot of these horror movies, what they'll do is they'll put like a filter on the lens to make things a little darker.
Oh, sure. Well, almost every movie they do
take some of the color out of it. And that has an impact on my
psyche.
Like it makes me feel a bit anxious, which I don't like to. That's like my least I'd almost rather feel pain than anxiety.
Yeah, it's funny that Ozark, one of the best shows of all time, they do that a lot. They mess with you a lot. So when you're in the Ozarks, basically they usually have that kind of filter going on, and but they deal with the Mexican cartel so much, and then all of a sudden they're in bright, colorful Mexico, and different filters or something. If they will definitely harness the mood via those filters and take you on a roller coaster ride. Yeah,
that's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like the old Twilight Zone, where suddenly the picture would get slanted.
There you go. What I mean? Yeah, sure.
And that has a dramatic effect.
Camera angles. Camera angles are huge and probably understated these days.
This is interesting because one of the other things I've been watching is the old Star Trek episodes again, which
really?
I love. Yes, I love them. And you just, what reminded me of it is the camera angles, because they were so good with the camera angles, and then they put that light in people's eyes and everything.
Yeah,
and that was a dramatic effect that still works on me today.
Have you ever seen the Black Mirror episode that's a Star Trek spoof? It's really good. It's really good. I gotta
write this down. The Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I think I've seen it 3 times.
This is a spoof.
It's kind of. Do you know what Black Mirror is?
No.
I don't know if it's Netflix or Amazon Prime, but I'm sure you could find this somewhere. Black Mirror are singular episodes like the Twilight Zone, but they always have to do like a dystopian take on tech. Somehow tech or AI is going to create robots or mind control or something. This particular episode is about a coding nerd who's a co-founder of this big company, yet his buddy is the face of it. He's the coder.
Okay.
And he feels underappreciated on all that, and a nerd. Well, and they have this game. They have this really consuming type of game, not unlike anything that's out there today. Well, he's got a more experimental beta version at home, which is completely immersive. He goes home, he puts these electrodes on his temples and fully immerses into this world where he's Captain Kirk of Star Trek. They call it something else though, but it's 100% Star Trek. And the crew are people from at work. He's actually stolen their DNA and had it replicated into the virtual world.
Wow. I like this idea.
And these people, these avatars have awareness. They're like, oh my God. And they have to kiss his ass or they will be, because he's got the power of God in this virtual world. He's turned them into monsters and stuff like that if they don't absolutely kiss his ass. And
really?
And the one new girl, the protagonist of this particular episode, figures out a way to foil him. And it's a terrific episode, dude. You would love it.
And how do it's called Black Mirror episode?
Yeah. Well, just Google Black Mirror, Star Trek episode, and I'm sure you'll find some information on it.
Okay.
You could find it somewhere, somehow. I just know you.
I'm going to watch this today.
Yeah, I know that. I know. Yeah, you will absolutely love it. It's a terrific episode.
Oh, that sounds cool. I just think about how you and I and Scott used to fantasize about how we would, when we were in college, how we were going to do a spoof on the Star Trek and everything.
Yeah. I remember the one like
kind of want to do that.
His body is like obliterated, and then Bones goes over there with his tricorder. He's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim. I saw an episode last night where That Jim. I mean, it was like, when are they going to figure out that little thing is what's killing people?
Yeah. What would he always
say? You killed them, Bones.
What would he always say? Damn it, I'm a doctor, not a construction worker, or something like that.
I'm a doctor, not a scientist, or whatever it was. He was one of my favorite guys. I love the three of them together, him and Spock and Kirk together.
In the first big movie redo of Star Trek, now I can't think of his name. That one. Oh, the dude that played McCoy, Bones, was terrific. He's a big actor. No, yeah, but the newer version of that. He's a big actor now, and I can't think of his name. And I know that when I saw that for the first time, like 15 years ago, when that came out, I was like, that dude's an amazing actor. And it was like everybody caught on to that. And
I never saw that. And I've heard this before about his character. I also heard the guy that played Kirk actually did a great job as well.
And he's a really big actor now too. He's like one of the most amazing looking dudes you'd ever see in your life. I can't think of his name now either. I'm terrible about that stuff. And he's a very good actor. He was in, wish I could think of his name. He was in this really good movie, takes place in Texas. It's like a modern day cowboy movie. Him and his brother are outlaws. And I can't think of the name of that to save my life either. Like, why would anybody listen to this podcast with me and all my vague references to everything? Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to look up who this guy is. Captain.
Yeah, look up the cast of that Star Trek. But of course, I don't know what that Star Trek movie was called.
Right. I'm trying to find it, but yeah, I heard they did an amazing job on this whole thing as well. I can't find it. Oh well.
I'll find it.
So all of those newer Star Trek movies with the new, like the first one was when they went to the Starfleet Academy and everything. I haven't seen any of those, and I think there's like 3 or 4 of them that are out now. And Scott told me that those were really good.
Oh yeah, I would say so. So I'm looking at the DVD of it, and it's just called it's J.J. Abrams Star Trek. So that's what I'm going to put in here. Okay, full cast and crew. And Chris Pine is Kirk. And that's the dude that he's an amazing looking guy. Carl Urban played Bones McCoy, and he is a huge actor now. He's fantastic. He plays the main role in a show called The Boys, which is on Prime. I'm sure you don't know of it. It's kind of superhero-ish. It is. It's about this drug that is manufactured that turns people into superheroes. The government was giving it to kids and they would grow up into these superheroes, but they kept it on the down low and made everybody believe that these superheroes were like natural and mutants. Well, they turn out to be kind of evil people. Carl Urban is like the main protagonist guy whose wife was killed by one or something, and he wants to kill all of these so-called superheroes. And it's a really good, dark show.
What's the name of that one?
The Boys.
The Boys. That kind of sounds interesting to me.
Oh, it's really good. It's really dark. That also had Zoe Saldana in it as Uhura, and she's a big name. Simon Pegg is in there as Scotty. So yeah, big names in there. Zachary Quinto, that didn't become the biggest name, but he played Spock and did an excellent job. Oh, yeah. And Leonard Nimoy's in there as his future version of Spock.
Is that right? Wow, that's pretty cool.
We lost him just a couple years ago.
Yeah. It was recently. Yep, just a couple years ago.
Winona Ryder's in it. Chris Hemsworth. Oh my God, this is like an all-star cast. Yeah. Anyways, whenever you get a chance to look at those, that's a 2009 show. So it was a little while ago,
behind here,
but it's good. And it's, anything past 2000, 2005 stands the test of time these days, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the effects are all there, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
It was good. Some good stuff there.
That's cool, man. I got to check that out.
Yeah,
hey, I got some stuff in the news. This is on my I'm glad I left California thing. But you know, California's up to their old tricks here. You know, maybe it was a month ago, the governor was talking about some kind of a relief fund for people regarding the high cost of gasoline out there, and they were going to give some kind of rebate to people. Oh, that's all gone. Nobody's getting any kind of rebate or anything.
You're not getting your own money back?
No, you're not getting your money. Sorry. Not only that, but they're going to raise the gas tax up. They're going to tack on another 5.6% to the gas tax here. They do that every year, Barry, in California. Every summer, and it happens July 1st, they add an extra gas tax that they take away in the winter months, and this is supposedly for road construction. Well, they've decided that even though let's see here, national average is at $4.13 here, with California seeing prices of average $5.68, but we're actually seeing some places at $6.61 in California. They're going to go ahead and add that 5.6% gas tax. And they're saying it's for road improvements, but
I'm surprised they're not saying it's for education. That's usually
yeah, exactly. Well, the fact is, though, Barry, is that this is a little known fact, but California actually is in the black. They've got a budget surplus of $46 billion right now.
Wow.
And when the new taxes are come into effect for 2021, that's going to add another 23 billion to that 46 billion. So these guys have huge pockets. So here's my thing, is like, with all the problems that are happening in California right now, they're paying some of the highest tax in the land. What are they doing, hoarding up about $70 billion right here
while everyone's leaving as a result of their greed?
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
I can never totally pinpoint what the hell is going on there.
Me neither. And I lived there all that time. And you know, the one thing that I can see that California figured out is a one-party system. There's no way for any other party to get into California, because like, we actually would get ballots where your choices were a Democrat or a Democrat. Like, they figured it out where you can't vote for anybody else over there. So now you're seeing the results of having a governmental system like that, where craziness can just happen unopposed. And here we are again.
Gavin Newsom. There you go. Case in point. Gavin Newsom still in power.
How can that possibly be? How can it be? It is really something. And we talked about last week the crime problems that are happening. I had a neighbor. We went to, I didn't even tell you this, for Easter, we got invited to some friends' house, Mike and Amy. They're the ones that actually were the agents to help us to get into this house. And we've become really good friends with. They're awesome people. I love them. They invited us over for Easter, and they had other people over there. We met some really nice people, really enjoyed it. But they had just come back from San Diego. They went on a road trip out there to see their son. They couldn't stop talking about what they saw of the homeless population.
Oh, right.
They were just astounded by this. Sometimes I forget how shocking it is, because it's like a frog in water, and you boil it slowly. You just don't notice that you're boiling. Well, I mean, it is. I haven't seen one homeless person since I've moved out here to Arizona. Wow. Not one. I mean, gosh, if I saw not one during a particular day in Los Angeles, that would have been a miracle, because it's amazing. I especially underneath the bridges. The makeshift housing that's under almost every bridge in Los Angeles, not only is disgusting because trash is everywhere. They create this amazing amount of trash, but it's not safe. You know, you're walking down under these dark bridges, and anything could happen. For women, they could be snatched into one of these little shanties and everything. God knows what could happen there. Drug abuse is outrageous. Gosh, what are they going to do? I hope it changes.
And they have all that money, but even their social programs to combat the homeless problem are just a money-making grift. Like they continuously talk about, and I've listened to podcasts about the extensive explanations of this, but so it's like everything else. They prey off of the guilt and the I'd say guilt is a good way to go with that, but of people that make a decent living out there in California and keep talking about, oh, we could fix this. We need more money for this, that, and the other. And all they're doing is growing and growing and growing their own businesses of
that's exactly
supposedly doing something, and yet they never do anything.
You know, and it's funny because here's a stat that I heard too. It's just kind of along the same lines where they're like, oh, we're going to do something. Every time they do something, they make the problem a lot worse.
Yes.
One of the things in California was it was one of the first states to legalize marijuana. And one of the big reasons was the drug cartels were overwhelming the law enforcement there in California, and this would be a way to decriminalize that and get those drug cartels out of there. Well, it turns out that of all the farms, all the marijuana farms in California, about half of them are run by the Mexican drug cartels
up in the mountains. Yeah.
I know. How could this be? It's so crazy what
California's messed up.
I mean, when they say we're going to help out the situation, man, grab your wallet and run.
That's what you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Buddy, I am going to have to get going. If you got any final thing to go over, please do. But I got cleaning people about to come in.
I have one thing here, and it is from the ending on a lighter note here. I want to see if I can pull this up. Hey, can you give me the ability to share?
And you have it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So this one got me. This is you can see the screen now. Chilling video shows man assaulting teen girl, bystander taking him down. He said, I just did what I thought was right. So let's see if we can play this video here. I don't really need any sound for this. And doggone it. What is this?
Probably went on,
I don't know what that
probably is. Went on to the next video.
Okay, so here it is. This guy.
You can hit refresh. Just
can I? Okay.
Yeah, just hit Command R or Control R.
Control R. I don't think I've ever done that before.
There you go. Now go to the video.
All right, let's see here. So no, that didn't work. I don't know what happened there.
Well, I
don't wonder what that is. That's weird. Anyway, let me just roll through this. This guy minding his own business over here on the corner sees this over here. This man grabs a hold of this woman, and before you know it, this guy runs over, grabs this guy, beats the living tar out of him, calls the police, and this woman is saved. And this is him getting a commendation or a positive citation before the police. This is the kind of guy you want in the foxhole with you.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's so many things that are going on out there in the world. We've seen it, we've heard it. What it was last year with the woman being assaulted on a subway train, and people just got their cell phones out and filmed it instead of helping the woman. Here's a guy after my own heart here. You don't stand for having a guy beat up a woman right there in front of you. And this guy took responsibility, and I'm glad he did. If the world had more of this kind of guy, this would be a whole different world out there. God bless him.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. It's a great way to
anyhow, just want to end on that. There are good people out there. Two of them are right here in front of you. And Barry, I got to tell you, man, every week I just get such a thrill out of being able to do this.
I do too. I really look forward to it. And It's like I said at the beginning of the show, to define the show, I think it's two guys that just really enjoy each other. So the chemistry is there, that just want to get a little bit better every day. So take the ride with us,
Right on,
yeah.
Barry.
All right,
hey,
bro.
Man, have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Love you, bro.
Bye. Love you too. Bye.